Would I now request Mr. Kogahara to give the flower bouquet to our guest, Mr. Furukawa. To Furukawa-san. Now I would request Chairman of K-House, Japan, to say a few words to this gathering.
皆様、本日は、お忙しい中お集まりいただきましてありがとうございます。日本からやってまいりました K ハウスの小ヶ原と申します。本日はよろしくお願いいたします。
Thank you so much all of you for being here today, despite your very busy schedules. My name is Kogahara and I have come from Japan.
すみません、こちらからは座らせたままでやらせていただきたいと思います。よろしくお願いします。
And from now on, I'll speak sitting down. So please just hold on.
日本とインドは昔、豊かで独創的な文化を持つ2つの国です。
India and Japan are two countries which have a very rich culture, which closely resemble each other.
食や衣類、芸術などさまざまな点で、共通点もございますし、共に文化が影響を及ぼしてきた過去の歴史もございます。
Whether we talk about clothing or art or social practices, we can find similarities between all of them.
その中の一つである映画ですね。これはさまざまな角度から一つの国の文化や、を映し出す鏡のようなものです。
One such facet of culture is also cinema, and in cinema you can see everything about a country's culture.
映画を通して私たちはその国の歴史、ライフスタイル、文化、価値観などを知ることができております。
Through watching movies, we can learn all about a country's culture, its values, its history. And Japan is very, very fond of India because they also remember that it was in India that Buddhism first originated.
逆にインドの方たちは日本について知っていることってございますか？
Is there anything that Indian people know about Japan?
安倍首相、富士山、広島、京都など知っている方はいらっしゃいますか？
You must all be knowing about Mount Fuji, about Kyoto.
特に近年ではですね、日本のアニメーションというのはかなりレベルが高くて、海外からも評価を受けております。
In particular, these days, Japanese animation is of a very high level, and people from all over the world have been interested in Japanese anime.
この映画祭を通してですね、意外と知られていない、知ってるようで知らない日本について理解を深めていただき、
And through this Japanese Film Festival, we want you to get a deeper understanding of Japan, which you may feel you know, but possibly you don't quite know.
ビジネスの可能性や観光地としての魅力を、伝えていけたらいいなと思っております。
And we would like to also introduce you business opportunities and various sightseeing spots in Japan.
これまで数は少ないんですけれども、いくつかインドの映画もですね、日本で上映されております。さらに非常に高い評価を受けております。
Recently, a few, not that many, but a few Indian movies have been released in Japan, and they've been all very highly appreciated.
もちろんマヘッドさんの作品もかなり有名で、僕の好きな作品の一つでもあります。
And Mr. Mahesh Bhatt's movies are also very well known in Japan. And
今日は参加していただいてありがとうございます。
And thank you so much for participating in this conference today.
日本の映画といいますと、黒澤明さんや宮崎駿さんが非常に有名かと思いますけれども、
When we talk about Japanese films, I think two of the most famous Japanese directors would be Mr. Kurosawa and Mr. Miyazaki.
今後ですね、その映画祭を通して、日本の映画も伝えていきたいのと、より活発な意見交換ですとか、共同制作といった映画を通した交流が始まれば、これに勝る喜びはないと思っております。
And through our endeavor, we would like to have a greater exchange of films and possibly co-production opportunities between India and Japan in the future.
今回この映画祭につきましては、毎年来年も開催したいと思っておりますし、年間行事として定着させることを最終目的としております。
And we want to hold such film festivals not only this year but next year and possibly make it an annual event in the future.
またそういった交流を をもとにですね、日本国内でインドの映画を紹介するような映画祭を今後やっていきたいとも考えております。
And with this start, we also feel that we should like to have similar film festivals of Indian films in Japan, so we can introduce Indian films to the Japanese audience.
うちの会社は実は飲食事業をメインにやっておるんですけれども、映画事業に直接関わっているわけではありませんが、映画祭という場を作り上げて互いの文化に対する理解を深めていくことは、今後の日本とインドのビジネスが成功に値するということになると思います。
Our company is actually basically into the hospitality business. We have various eating joints and restaurants. We are not directly involved with the film industry, but we believe that by holding such film festivals and all, we can increase business opportunities and the cultural exchanges between our countries. Japan's best films will be waiting for you there.
ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
This is in Tokyo and in Pune in India.
ですね、自動車の自動運転。
Thank you very much. The specialty of Japanese film is its CFX has become very popular across the world. Of course, Japan on an average produces a little over 400 film words about what are the policies that Japan would adopt to live to its glory.
皆さんこんにちは、ジェットロジャパンエクスターナルトレードオーガナイゼーションの古川と申します。
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Furukawa, and I am from JETRO, the Japan External Trade.
っていうのはですね、日本の経済産業省。
A warm welcome to my friends from Japan. It's indeed a glorious day when you are kickstarting the Japanese Film Festival in the entertainment capital of India. Well, I'm reminded of the year 1984 when I went with my film Saransh to Moscow. The film was a critical hit but a box office failure in Mumbai and in India. It did not recover money. But when the film was shown in Moscow, there was a Japanese representative who loved the film so much that he came forward and he made a purchase of that film for the television network. And he paid an exorbitant amount at that time, thereby taking the film from what is the red space to the plus space. So I'm indebted to Japan in the very beginning of my career for bailing me out with a film which was merely a critical hit in Mumbai and India, but not a box office success. And had it not been for that brave film representative of Japan, I wouldn't have been able to boast that Saransh was not only a critical success, but also generated wealth. Film festivals play a significant role in the destiny of filmmakers and the people of that region where the film festivals are held. I distinctly remember in the winter of mid-70s, when I was in the dawn of my career, I had gone to New Delhi, where I came face to face with the icon that you were referring to, Mr. Kurosawa, a tall, handsome man with his very short wife. And unfortunately, the Babus of Delhi did not know what his value was. So he was standing there in the lobby looking for a room. And I remember the great Sukhdev, the filmmaker of great repute, a man who made television, advertising films and also made a feature film, how we fought to give Mr. Kurosawa the respect and the attention that he deserved. So it is because of film festivals that you draw icons from different countries into alien spaces. Globalization does not mean westernization. Globalization also means forging very, very strong ties with your Eastern brothers. 2,500 years ago, the Buddha generated an unbreakable bond between Japan and India. So our relationships goes 2,500 years ago. And we must thank the Buddha who was responsible for building those formidable ties. As we know, Buddhism was born in India. It kind of blew up, but finally flowered in Japan. And the schools of Buddhism in Japan are something that you need to value as treasures of the human race. Coming to movies, yes, I think what we just saw, the images that flickered on the screen, had stunning imagery. Of course, they were soaked with human drama. And I think the Japanese cinema has never shied away from raw emotions. And I think cinema is an emotion-evoking vehicle. And I am certain that when the people of India and people of Mumbai will be exposed to the contemporary Japanese cinema, you will only broaden your horizon, because unfortunately we have had a kind of a stunted growth in the space of cinema. We only have been consuming cinema which comes from the West. And I think it's high time we also start looking towards East and realize that we have a lot more to share with our Eastern brothers. And I think with the Prime Minister's visit to Japan, the writing is on the wall that the bonds between our two countries will only get stronger. And I'm delighted that you are here and you're opening your doors for us to come there to explore the possibilities of shooting in your country. We're only frightened that Japan may be a very expensive country. The idea of going to Shinjuku and shooting there seems a distant dream. It may be affordable by Hollywood standards, but we still are a country which, though we may have come from far away to a very strong position now, but we, in the space of cinema, as you said, we are 7th in the list. So we have to count our foreign exchange when we come there. So initially, I would urge you to ask your governments to facilitate the shootings of the few films that come in the initial phases, so that images can be brought from Japan into India and the people of India are exposed to it, and then a kind of a movement begins. So a certain amount of investment will have to be made by you to kickstart this relationship, because it's very difficult to break into new spaces. There's a kind of a mental block, and that mental block can only be broken by aggressive persuasion. So I'm glad that you guys have taken the first step, and I'm certain that the film industry here will reciprocate. And I'm certain that in times to come, when we look back, today's day will be seen as a glorious day when something was kick-started between India and Japan, which will only make the story of India and Japan richer. Thank you.